What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Hope everyone had a really great week. I ran 65 kilometers this past Thursday, so Thursday, November the 28th, and I'm just coming on here because I would like to share my whole experience, so let me get into it. Also, I can't believe I forgot. It's December 1st. Happy December 1st and Happy New Month. Okay, now let me get into it. Okay, so firstly, how did I come up with this idea? I came up with it just because I've been doing so much running over the past couple years, and if I just think about specifically this year, I feel like my marathon times have been improving each time, and I feel like I'm just leveling up, and that kind of lit a beast within me, and I was like, you know what? I want to end this year on a really high note, doing something really momentous and big for myself, and I was like, you know what? Why not run a crazy distance? I kind of went back and forth with different kind of distances. At first it was 120 kilometers over 2 days, then it was just 100 kilometer at one go, and then I landed on 65 because the kids, when they couldn't say cystic fibrosis, they would say 65 roses, so that kind of went hand in hand with doing a 65 kilometer run, so that's kind of how I landed on that number. I also felt like 65 kilometers was like the perfect distance where, you know, it was a challenge, but not like I'm going to die. Like, I feel like now that I think of it, if I did 100 kilometers with the minimal training that I did, I think that would not have been smart or safe. So yeah, that's kind of another element as to how I came across this number. And I used to do fundraisers in the past where it'd kind of be like this big, like, I called it Darren's Fabulous Fundraiser. There'd be like DJs and prizes, and it was just big, huge, extravagant party. I didn't do that this year, and so I was like, what better way to still do a fundraiser, but in a way that is speaking to me right now. So I was fundraising for Cystic Fibrosis Canada. In case you haven't seen any of my other videos on my channel, I have cystic fibrosis, which is why I'm very passionate about it, and that's why doing this run is even more of an achievement on its own. So how I decided on the route was I literally just went into Google and I was like, okay, where have I run before? And I've run from my place to Surrey. For those who aren't from Vancouver, I think the best way to describe kind of my thought process was I've ran to Surrey before. I'm not going on like highways or anything. There's a sidewalk, and I knew from Surrey to Langley, you can still get there by sidewalk. And so I was like, I had to go in that kind of general direction. So Alder, I don't even know really, yeah, like Alder, I was like, the Aldergrove was right by the border, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I'm running from like right by the border all the way into downtown, so that's kind of how I decided on my route. So yeah, it's pretty cool to think about. I went through 6 different cities. So Aldergrove, Langley, Surrey, New Westminster, Burnaby, and then finished off in downtown Vancouver. Literally just saying it out loud. It doesn't get old. It's mind-boggling that I did that. But anyways, that's kind of how I decided on which way I was running. I also wanted to make sure that my route was in a straight line and not like going in a circle or a loop. I wanted to go from point A to point B, keep going in the same direction. Now, previous to this run, the farthest that I've ever run has been a marathon. So essentially, I ran a marathon and another half. So I wanted to make sure I was doing it in a safe way. So when I first came up with the idea, I was like, okay, I need help. And so in my mind, I was like, it would be nice to have a driver and then a secondary person who could help me with, you know, like social media or taking videos or whatever. And so for the first bit, I actually found it kind of challenging trying to find someone. And that honestly I almost was gonna call it off because I was getting so frustrated and I couldn't solidify anyone helping me. I luckily found one of my best friends, Kyle Muir. This is gonna be, gonna go off about him. So we've known each other since 2014, so, oh my god, it's 2024. Has it been 10 years? Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, so we've known each other for 10 years. It feels like a lifetime. And he is, yeah, one of my best friends who has supported me through many of my life's challenges. And anytime I've been in the hospital, he would always bring, I don't know if I can't remember if it was an Xbox or a PS3 or 4. Anyways, he would always like make sure anytime I'd go in the hospital that I was really like set up, and he's just so kind and genuine and just such just a great human being. Anyway, so I kind of harassed him, and he eventually said yes, he would help me. And so yeah, he came along this journey with me in his car. He was really prepared with regular water bottles with electrolytes. We did a test route of it before, just driving along to make sure we knew exactly the route that I was running and where he would kind of pull over. And yeah, he really got me through, I'll say, honestly, all the run. I feel like in the back of my mind, I knew he was there, and he was my cheerleader with his two dogs, Jasper and Bailey. But yeah, seriously, I feel like I can't thank him enough. It like truly helps having a great support system in my life in general, but even when I do marathons and yeah, just going back to this run, the fact that he was there and he was supporting me the whole entire time truly meant the world to me. So yeah, shout out to you, Kyle. I love you so much. Everyone, just please clap and give it up for Kyle. Okay, so the day before the run, my friend Jenny, who I went to high school with, we went to the CF Canada's head office, and we picked up supplies so she can kind of set up a finish line for me. So here's my shout out to you, Jenny. Jenny, thank you so much. She's also a really good photographer. She took some good photos of me to use just for like my GoFundMe page. I put it on my Instagram. Like I wanted to get some photos of me running just to use for my social media. So anyways, thank you, Jenny, for doing that. You're a great photographer. Also, thank you for helping me with the finish line. But yeah, so we went to the head office, got those, went back home, had a good dinner, ate lots of pasta, went to Kyle's place because he lives in North End. So it was easier since we were leaving early in the morning that I stayed at his place. Woke up nice and early. He made me breakfast, coffee, delicious oatmeal, and then we were out the door at, I think it was before 6:30 a.m. I think it was just before, like 6:15, I think. And we were driving on the highway to Aldergrove. So when we first got to the starting point, I had to sing "O Canada." Just because when you go to a marathon, you normally start with the national anthem, and I thought that would be appropriate. So I sang "O Canada" to start with. I then did about a 20-minute warm-up, and then I was going officially at 8 in the morning. The first part of the route, honestly, I think was my favorite part of the route. It was just kind of like rolling, but semi-flat, like farmland area. The road was super quiet. There was no sidewalk, but I mean, there wasn't much happening on there anyways, except for dogs. There was many dogs that were, I guess, I don't know if they're guard dogs or guarding the animals, or I don't know. But anyways, each place that I ran by that had a dog, they clearly were like, who's this human running along here? We aren't used to people doing this. And they were all barking at me. And there was actually these two dogs. I can't remember the actual breed of it, but it's like the Beethoven dog. So there was two of them, and one of them ran out onto the sidewalk, or not onto the sidewalk, onto the road, and was kind of running after me, and I had to pick up the pace, and luckily it didn't follow me, but that was my most, I'd say, thrilling part of the run. I forgot to mention there were so many animals to see. It was really cool. Horses, cows, goats, sheep, and llamas. Anyway, so after that first stretch, I turned onto Fraser Highway, and I got chills. I was like, you know what? Here we go. I knew that was gonna be like the first like long stretch until I got to the Patello Bridge, and I was like, okay, here we go. It's really starting now. And that whole stretch along Fraser Highway was honestly, it was like it wasn't lovely. There was lots of vehicles, and passed by a mall and the casino, and yeah, it wasn't pretty. Then I got to the Patello Bridge in Surrey, going over into New Westminster, and that was definitely, I'd say, the most scenic of it all. Definitely the most challenging as well. That bridge is honestly very hilly, and then going up a little bit into New Westminster, that was my least favorite part. Now, my run was going all fine and dandy. I got to 50 kilometers. I was honestly feeling still pretty good, and it was the 55 kilometer mark where I remember being like, oh, okay, now I'm feeling it in my legs. Now it's feeling spicy. And that was, it was somewhere along Kingsway. I don't remember exactly where, but I definitely remember texting many friends, being like, I'm at 10 kilometers, SOS, give me your energy. But yeah, I was pretty proud of myself in the fact that that was still the longest distance that I've run so far, and the fact that I got to 55 kilometers, and I mean, I still did the 65, but the fact that my legs were feeling good up until then, I feel like that alone was, I was proud of myself. So I completed the run in 7 hours and 50 minutes. My Apple Watch died, unfortunately. On Strava, for some reason, it glitched out, so it only recorded about, I think, 52 kilometers. For my Apple Fitness, it was 62 kilometers. But anyways, I did it in 7 hours and 50 minutes. My average pace was 7:11, which I feel like is pretty damn good. And when I analyzed or kind of looked at a more in-depth of kind of my pace and how I was doing along the run. So honestly, the only times my pace really dropped was when I was doing social media, because I was messing around with it myself, and that honestly kind of took time and waiting for it to upload. And then going up hills. So when I wasn't doing that, my pace was around I'll say average 6:30. So it was only those two kind of situations and scenarios where it caused my pace to kind of drop, but yeah, all learning. So some things I learned. Firstly, having a driver was a huge help. When I was maybe gonna do it alone, I now just think how helpful Kyle was, and so yeah, that was definitely a great thing that I got help. But I think we should have brought more food for myself. I know there's there was just a miscommunication. I thought he had bananas and we didn't bring it, but anyways, so just bringing more food. The other thing is making sure we have a printed paper route as well, and us not just relying on our phones. That would have been really beneficial. And also just having a second person to be in charge of social media for me. So that way I'm not doing that. I'm solely just focusing on running and just myself, and really having a team do the rest for me and really relying on them. And that sums up my whole experience. All in all, honestly, I am very proud of myself. I'm super happy that I decided to do this. I'm definitely gonna do it again next year. But if anyone has any suggestions, comments, any fun ideas that I could use for next year, please put that in the comments. If you'd like to be a part of it, again, shoot me a message, put a comment. Thank you to everybody who's donated. If you would still like to donate, I'll put the link in the description below. Thank you for everyone who was at the finish line. That really meant so much, that I had so much support there. It really meant a lot. Thank you again to Jenny. Thank you again to Kyle. Your support really meant the world to me, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's it for now. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.